I am the attorney in the room, so I'll talk a little bit about this. I'm State Representative Dane Ugaste from the 65th District. As Leader McCombie stated, we addressed the issue of timeliness, and we did so because the court sent out an order asking both the plaintiffs in the case, which Leader McCombie's the lead plaintiff, as well as the defendants, the State Board of Education, to address the timeliness of the matter and whether or not there's an issue there. We have filed our initial brief, and it addressed basically three things. The court asked about whether or not it's timely, and we said, well, clearly, first of all, we're within the statute of limitations. Now, if you look at these sections of the Constitution that we cite as violations, there's nothing indicating that there's a certain time in which it must be filed. So then you go look at the Illinois Code of Civil Procedure, and there's a 5-year catch-all for that. And there's two different ways of looking at that. You can look at the last election as being the last violation, because that's when these maps came into play and determined the outcome of the General Assembly, as being the last time we had a violation of the Constitution. And that would put the date in November of 2024, and of course we're within the 5-year statute of limitations. Or you can even look at when the map was enacted back in 2021, and whether or not we are within that time frame. And if you look at the 2021 time frame, when the map officially became official after the federal court ruled it was legal, then we're still within that 5-year time frame. So it should be considered by the court. But one other issue to look at is an old common law doctrine that deals with a leader such as Leader McCombie, who is a constitutional officer, addressing a public concern, because she's not suing on her behalf. She is suing on behalf of all the voters of the state of Illinois that are having their right to free and equal elections taken away from them by this very map. And because of that, there would be no statute of limitations or timeliness question. It would be solely that we get to proceed forward on this issue. So looking at all that, and also considering a Supreme Court case, Davis versus Bandimer, I may be getting it wrong, the plurality in that case basically said, this is the U.S. Supreme Court now, that you should have 2 election cycles to look at to make sure there's actually a harm being done. Well, that's exactly what we did. We had the 2022 election in which this map was relevant. We had the 2024 election in which this map was relevant. And now we filed in early 2025, just as soon as we could after that election. You know, part of the reason we need to keep this in front of people is because this is important to the residents of the state of Illinois. We are under one-party control, Democrat control, because of constitutional violations. Our voters' rights are being violated by these very maps. And we don't just point to 1 or 2 instances. Our expert lists 52 different instances. And unfortunately, people in this state oftentimes, when I'm talking to them in my district, or I hear from people in other districts, think that all hope is lost in this state. Nothing can be changed. The Democrats control the state. This is the way it is. These are the policies they're putting forward, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And unfortunately, that is why I hear many people are leaving the state of Illinois. Many businesses are done in the state of Illinois, which affects all of us who stay here. We need to be growing this state. We can't watch it continue to go down. We are taking this sign from the Supreme Court that they wanted to hear about timeliness, because we know we have solid arguments on it, as being a positive sign. We are not in a helpless situation. The people of the state of Illinois can have hope. These maps aren't permanent. The Supreme Court can invalidate them, ask a special master or order a special master to draw constitutionally valid maps, and we can move forward to a brighter day in Illinois.